Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper. I hope everyone's doing well today. Garfield took the day off. We got a special guest, Seth Pasick, out of the Denton Center, which is soon to be moving to different places, but mainly the Independent Center. He's a package car driver and a steward. So, what's on your mind today? What do you want to talk about?
I thought I'd talk about the trucks and how just awfully dirty they are,
Oh, horrible. Yeah.
like the windows like being like basically dangerous to drive, at
Yeah.
least in my building. I know that if I get into someone else's truck, I don't know how they see when it's when the sun is setting, with the windows the way they are. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a driver out of my building who filed like a number of grievances for the windows not being clean and the trucks not being cleanly, like it says that they're required to be in the contract,
Hmm.
and managed to get the center manager uh, to to agree to and sign off on a settlement on those grievances, where she gave us 20 minutes every day on the clock to clean out our trucks if we wanted to. I mean, I think it's pretty big, like, or whatever. Because they don't, I mean, we know they, at least at my building historically, because we don't have an automated car wash, so they have to have the part-timers do the car washing.
Yeah.
They've always taken the local sort resources that are set aside and coded out every day for car wash basically, and use them to unload trucks or whatever, because they're shorthanded on the local sort, like
Yeah.
basically always. I'm sure that it's like that a lot of other places too.
Well, I mean, listen, so like I remember during like up in New York when they'd have a snowstorm and then the roads would be all messed up and then the windshield would get so I mean, it was so bad, the glare off the sun, off the sun,
Yeah.
off the windshield with the sleet that froze on the windshield, and it was a horror show. Like it was bad. I mean, if you got to look and there's a part that's blocked and you got to change lanes, what happens there, right? I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, it's just like if your mirrors are loose when you're on the highway and they stop moving,
yeah.
you know, they seem tight to you when you check it before you leave, but okay, you're driving on the highway and there goes the mirror and there goes your way of seeing. So I mean,
Well, I mean,
that's
yeah, right. And it's like, hell, if you're driving through a neighborhood delivering and it's sunset, then
yeah,
you have the glare in your window, and you could have like a little kid run across in front of you, and you might not see
absolutely.
it. It's like that's really dangerous.
It
I mean,
is.
I think that a lot of people, they don't think that they have the ability to do to do these things to make their truck safer, like on the clock. And I think that absolutely you should have the ability to do that, right? Like, well, if you want to,
Yeah.
if you need to wash your windows because they're dirty,
Yeah.
um, then you should do that. And you should do that on the clock. It's a safety issue,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, everything's a safety issue, and basically everything's a safety issue, but that's good though. That was big that you got that. So, and I mean, it's more power to you. You get that done, you get the trucks clean, and you do what you have to do. So good. I mean, that's good to hear. So what else? We were talking before about what the smart labels, having an issue with the smart labels.
well, I mean, I just think that the whole network of the future smart label thing is it's a bit ridiculous. It's like another instance of us stepping over a dollar to pick up a dime. I mean,
Yep.
my understanding is that the labels cost something like 50 cents each. And so that would mean for a center like mine that pushes out as many as 20,000 packages in a preload shift, right? Like that you're spending $10,000 a morning
Yep.
on labels. And that is more than they spend on the entire payroll for the preload. That's insane. Like by several
Yeah.
orders, like it's more. And then you have like these Black Widow devices that are going in all of our trucks that look like they cost a fucking small fortune.
Yep.
But we can't get air conditioning in the trucks, right? Like we can't get air conditioning. We're laying people off, right?
Yep.
Like austerity cuts like here and there, but we can put these, I mean, they're hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, these devices, and in the roofs of all
Absolutely.
of our trucks.
Yep.
Um, for the sake of trying to eliminate misloads, that you're still going to have, if it's a mispal, which is what almost all the misloads are right now, you're
Yeah.
still going to have all of those misloads. That's not going to do anything about like the main problem when it comes to misloads. You're just
Yeah.
spending all this money. It's crazy, like.
Well, let me ask you a question. So forget about even that for 1 second, or just push it to the side for a second. You think they're going to use it for discipline?
Oh, yes,
Of course
absolutely.
they are. I mean,
Yes,
it's
they use
probably why they
everything.
put it in there secondary for the, for the misloads, right? You
Yeah,
know, it's so I got a bunch of drivers sending me pictures of it. And do you know more about that device? What do they call it?
they call it a Black Widow, which is
Oh,
really
yeah,
dystopic, honestly,
yeah.
ridiculous. Like the idea of that this Black Widow device is like something that's in our roofs hanging over our heads all day, right? Like that's kind of dark.
No, it
But
is. It is.
yeah, like I mean, a dark like name to call it, right? Like they could have come up with anything. They
Yeah,
decided to call it, name it after a spider. Like,
really. I mean, death. Like, I just I got to tell you, it's just more of it, and that's more technology. Hey, did we know about that? Did we know about anything about that? I've never
I
heard
mean,
anything about
and there's questions too. Like
it.
the RFID technology is made to work at very close distances. And so the reason why the dome things on those are so big is because they have to shoot a lot of energy out of them in order to like basically ping off of the RFID labels. Because you're doing
No.
it for, like many feet away in some instances, if you're talking about across the entire truck, and they're made to work at like inches away.
Yeah.
And so there's some question as to like possible health ramifications from all of that energy being beamed out of the freaking things like all day long, like on us. And then like I've also had video where like I can't substantiate this necessarily, but like where it's where someone was showing video that there's like a walk sign sort of like symbol that pops up in it, and they're saying that that only pops up in it when there's somebody moving in the cab, which doesn't seem relevant to like the functionality of the thing at all. So if that's true, like, then I
Yeah.
mean, that's crazy. Like, why do you need to know if someone's moving around in the cab, right? Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
And
mean,
it's
it's all very, I mean, it's like all of this just so that the preloader can be like, have an alarm sent off, like if they go on the wrong truck with the package that has the wrong PAL label on it or whatever. I mean, the right PAL label on it, I guess, like as it were. Yeah. I mean, it just seems like excessive and insane, really.
yeah, and they want to say, and again, the issue with the misloads is, we know that people get on the belt and different people handle it. So how are you going to start disciplining part-timers, right? In the first place,
Right.
you don't know who's touching the package. You don't know
I
who's
mean,
doing it.
they've tried disciplining him over the wanding, right? So like, which is
Yep.
essentially kind of the same idea. So I don't really see why this would be any different. Just like
Mhm.
everything, they discipline, like discipline
Yeah.
over everything. But
Yeah. And and to pay for these systems, I'm sure they make sure they take care of it and pay for it, but they can't pay, like you said, part-timers are always wrong. The paychecks are wrong. They don't pay them at all sometimes. I mean,
yeah,
that's the crazy part
no,
too. I mean, there's so many crazy.
that's true, absolutely. Yeah, we can't pay people right, but we can put in like these crazy complex systems into people's trucks that don't solve a problem that they're even made to solve.
It's
Absolutely.
it's unbelievable. But all right, so listen, so I'm glad you came on here, and we find out more information. We'll have another episode. We'll have you back on. We'll talk about it again, and probably by then, someone will probably have been disciplined by then, right? I mean, they're going to
Probably.
do something, and
Yeah.
but like anything else, we're going to fight it. But for myself and for Seth Pasick, thank you very much.
We all deal with national language, but on this podcast, when it comes to supplemental language, we deal mostly with the southern region. And as always, it's best to get advice from your local stewards or business agents. If you would like to reach out to us with any questions, we have an email address, 767realitycheck@gmail.com. That's 767realitycheck@gmail.com.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.